All right, I'm gonna move this out of the way. Okay. This is all about, hey, welcome to the Western Piedmont Community College Small Business Center webinar on using LinkedIn as a business tool. Thank you for everyone who showed up. Thank you for everyone who is watching this video that we're saving on YouTube for everybody to get a hold of. So a fast-paced set of slides to talk about first. They'll be based on a context called tips. And then we will go live into LinkedIn, and anybody who has questions can ask questions either by unmuting themselves and asking questions, or using the chat and answering questions that way. So, hey, by the way, did you know that LinkedIn has over almost 900 million members? It's at an almost. It hasn't. It keeps banging into that number. As of this morning, 4/3, or yesterday morning, I guess it was, 5 new LinkedIn members every second. Every second, 5 new members. 60.3 million companies are on LinkedIn as of yesterday morning. And your LinkedIn profiles continue to be highly indexed based on how well you produce them by not only LinkedIn, but by Google and Bing and ChatGPT and Bard, et cetera, et cetera. LinkedIn profiles, LinkedIn ranks near the top of the list of the sites that are indexed. Content can be seen by not only your LinkedIn network, but others on LinkedIn and even outside of LinkedIn if you permit that content to be seen. And I recommend you make your LinkedIn profile content 100% public. Here's 10 tips I want to share with you about using LinkedIn as a business tool. First of all, you got to have focus, and your focus needs to be on your purpose for using LinkedIn and your goals. Otherwise, you're on social media and you're making noise and you're not creating value. You need to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is built in such a way that it's focused on your target audience. It speaks clearly to your target audience, telling them what you do and how you create value for them through the organization that you're a part of, or through your own company. You need to make sure that you're focused on highly relevant and building a highly relevant and meaningful LinkedIn network, not connecting to every Tom, Dick, and Harry and Betty and Sue on the internet. And you need to make sure you're focused on engaging and sharing content that is relevant to your target audience in context to your purpose and your goals. Here's a big tip. Your LinkedIn profile is not a resume. It is a brochure. Think of it as a brochure. Look at your car dealerships. You go look at the brand new Quattro Porte, which is produced by, I can't remember who makes this car. I have to go down to my garage and see what this $150,000 car. No, I don't have that. But the brochure for that car is written clearly speaking to the person or the people who would buy that car. It is not written in a way that it would appeal to a person who would buy a Mini Cooper or a Ford F-150. It's written to the people who would buy that Italian vehicle. Resumes, especially for resumes that are owned by people who are not coached appropriately, they're nothing more than your ongoing obituary, and no one wants to read that. They want to read a document, again, that tells them who you are and what you do relevant to them. This applies to your LinkedIn profile as well. Otherwise, you're wasting time. So Tara wants to know, how do you make your LinkedIn profile sure it's public? You got there's a link. Later on I'll get you the link and I'll share it with you so you can find it. So number two, keywords are vital. You need to make sure that the words you're using throughout your entire LinkedIn profile speak to your target audience, resonate with your target audience, so that they are clear about who you are. I have the word LinkedIn, LinkedIn training, sales navigator training, virtual training, LinkedIn networking, brand development, sales teams. These are the words that resonate with my target audience. My target audience is typically sales leaders. And they want to make sure that when they look at my LinkedIn profile, I want to make sure when they look at my LinkedIn profile that I'm using the words that resonate with them. Throughout, everywhere on my LinkedIn profile, you'll see these words over and over again. So you need to know what words resonate with your target audience so that you're using those words. Again, this is called keywords. It's called SEO. And the more you understand that, and the more you use the words that are relevant, the better off you're going to be. Keywords that are relevant to your services, your products. Again, the value you bring to your target audience. Number three, focus your LinkedIn profile on your target audience. Remember, you're writing it to speak to them. You're writing it to you. You are the human speaking to that other human through the words that you use on your LinkedIn profile. And when you think about, I'm using words that I would use out loud, you're writing a much more powerful message. You're speaking more clearly to your target audience. Bullet points, I'm not a big fan of bullet points, and really would prefer you to think about, again, what are the words and how would you say them out loud when you're speaking to your target audience? Start using LinkedIn search. Start understanding how LinkedIn search works. Start practicing, experimenting, using the search bar to find companies, individuals, content groups, et cetera, et cetera. Again, so that you can get more value out of LinkedIn and you can find more of the right people that you're looking for, so you can uncover projects, maybe do some competitive analysis, use it for talent acquisition, learn more. I'm a big fan of learning through my network because I've built a rich network of some really smart people and I want to pay attention to them. LinkedIn search tool is a powerful tool, whether you're using LinkedIn and or Sales Navigator, which is another LinkedIn product, or you're using LinkedIn Recruiter, which is an even bigger, more powerful product. Understand the search bar. Understand how to refine your search so you're driving the search results down to what Seth Godin refers to as the smallest viable audience. It's a really powerful philosophy. Instead of looking at, almost 900 million people, use the 17 search filters so you can, when you're looking at people, so you can just keep getting it more and more focused, and you'll also not only be more successful and more productive, but you'll also minimize hitting what's called the commercial search limit. And that if you're not paying for LinkedIn, you'll hit that on a regular basis the more you're using search. So look at a smaller list, work a smaller list, and you'll be more productive. Number 6, do not accept every LinkedIn invite you get. You do not need to connect with Maggie and all these other people who you don't know and they don't know you. Now, don't misunderstand me. There is value in connecting with people that you don't know yet, but you need to do it purposefully. I'm pretty deliberate about managing my LinkedIn invites. It's an important part of my business. So if I get an invite with someone and I don't know who they are, they're getting a message back from me, and I'm going to ask them to tell me who they are and why they want to connect. That's important for me to know why they want to connect. And so use the tools available to you. If you manage your invites from the see all or from the manage, which is it'll bring you to this page, and on this page I can message or reply to these people, and I can very clearly have an engagement with them before I accept them as a LinkedIn connection. Send invites out to people who know you, not just everyone, not just the people you want to connect with. If you don't know them, then you want to use another process to get connected to them. What I recommend that you do is don't send an invite to someone who doesn't know you. Instead, ask someone that does know you and the other person, ask for an introduction, or find their content where they shared something and engage on their content. And once you get introduced or once you bump into them, now you can follow up with a LinkedIn invite because they will know who you are. Well, they won't know a lot about you, but they'll know who you are. I'm all about very deliberate connecting on LinkedIn and not sending invites out and hoping and praying. Hoping and praying are not business tactics. Number 8, grow your LinkedIn network every day. Find new ways to connect with the right people. I get an email from a client and they copied someone else. I look at that person and I see, do I know them? And have I connected with them? Well, the fact I got an email where they were copied on the email, they know who I am. So I can send an invite to them to connect on LinkedIn. Also, when I have client meetings or peer discussions, or I do a webinar where there's a small group of people on there, I may look for them and send them an invite to connect because they're relevant to me because they showed up at a webinar, they showed up at a meeting, showed up at a client meeting, showed up at a networking event, or they were on an email. So look for ways every day to connect and keep growing your LinkedIn network in a very deliberate way. And by the way, every single time you connect with someone on LinkedIn, you need to immediately engage with them. There is no value in making a connection if you don't also try to pull the right people into a conversation. Number 9, if you don't want to see it, don't touch it. This applies to LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and on and on. The more you touch it, the more you're going to get it. There are only so many hours a day. Don't waste them banging around on the keyboard and, and commenting on stuff that's not productive, useful, beneficial, interesting, meaningful, whatever. And if you see something you don't like, don't touch it. I live by this edict. Never do, say, or engage in any ways that you don't want to be seen, heard, or perceived of in life. My editor told me the word should be way, not ways, but I think there are multiple ways that you can make that mistake. So I went ahead with the grammatical mistake. It's important to do that. And by the way, if you see content that I shared that is not that I shouldn't have shared, do me a favor, call me or email me or message me directly. Remember to show up in conversations and engage on your target audience's content. Conversations are important. The real benefit of using LinkedIn is around the content where you can participate in other conversations. Find conversations that are going on that are relevant to you. Find content that's relevant to you and add value to the conversation. Don't hijack a conversation and make it all about you, your business, or your widget. That's horrible. Nobody wants that. People will start ignoring you pretty quickly. Add value to the conversation. By the way, this is not only how we build our brand, it's also how we build trust, respect, and like by others. So participate in conversations where you can, while you're also looking for opportunities to start conversations. If you're going to start a conversation, use diverse content. Don't use, I got people who on a regular basis, they'll do polls. This one guy, all he did was polls over and over again. Say, I love polls. I'm like, but your network is tired of polls. So when you're sharing content on LinkedIn, you have the ability to do images, document, third-party URLs, original content you write, articles, newsletters, videos, polls, celebratory posts, events, LinkedIn Live, LinkedIn Audio. That's a diverse set of content. So try to use all of these to the extent you can. Maybe you're not willing to write an article. That's okay. Maybe you're not willing to create a newsletter or create a video. That's okay. But use as much diverse content as you can, because that way you have an opportunity to appeal to a broader audience with more diverse content. Share leadership thought ideas. Share stuff that makes people think. Share content that may make your peers or your employees think, or your clients look at you differently because you're a thought leader. Drop ideas into the news feed, not only for your employees, your followers, your connections, but for other people to find. It's called giving. And when we use this idea of giving and sharing content that can help other people, that again helps to build our brand. By the way, check your spelling and your grammar. You do not want to show up in my yearly Manger report, nor do you want to show up in my yearly pubic relations report. that will not help you at all. It can, by the way, it can kill your brand. And I can testify to the fact that I lost a contract that I never even had an opportunity to discuss with the business owner because I misspelled the name of their company. And the lady I was working with was so appalled that I did that. She said she was not going to present the contract to the owner of the company, and she would not give me another opportunity. That can kill your brand. If you want to get real value out of using LinkedIn as a business tool, you have to integrate the use of LinkedIn into other business processes. It's important. You're not going to set aside time to use LinkedIn. You're not going to set aside time to look at LinkedIn profiles. When you find a way to integrate lots of the different activities on LinkedIn into your other business processes, you'll get more value out of using LinkedIn, and it'll work better for you. So find ways to integrate looking at LinkedIn profiles, sending LinkedIn invites, engaging on content that's maybe from your first level network or from the person you're trying to engage with, et cetera, et cetera. Look for ways to integrate it so that it becomes a part of the flow and not something you have to stop and go do. Pay serious attention to the changes that are going on LinkedIn. This is actually my business, is to pay attention to this to these changes. Because when you discover changes, you may discover that your process isn't working as well, or you may discover that your process can work better with that change. And by the way, LinkedIn's making changes all the time. Some of them stick, some of them don't. If LinkedIn decides, oh, well, that didn't work, they'll kill it off. But you do need to pay attention. And the more you use LinkedIn, the more you'll be able to pay attention. That's those are the philosophies that I want you to adopt. Now, this can go a whole lot deeper when I get into teaching how to build a LinkedIn profile, teaching and coaching on how to build a LinkedIn network, and teaching and coaching how to build a LinkedIn brand. But let's stop now and let's just go ahead, and I'll go directly into answering questions for anybody who has a question for me. So let me see, I need to go bring up my profile. VLI. I need to bring up the chat. Tara asked, how do you make sure your profile is public? Tara, let me show you right here. If I go to my contact information and I go hit this pencil right here, this URL right there is the public URL. You hit this right here, and then this will bring up your public profile settings. It's really linkedin.com/public-profile/settings. That's the URL. Not only can you edit your URL right here, but if you come down and edit your visibility, then you can decide, do I want my profile photo 100% public? Yes, you do. And then all of these different sections that you are using on LinkedIn, you can turn them off or leave them on. My recommendation is have them all on. So, that's how I answer. That's the answer to that question. Let me see. Come out of here. Who else do we have? So what other questions do you have that I can answer for you? Anybody, either unmute yourself or use the chat and ask me any question, and I'm happy to answer. And it's a small group on here, so I'm happy to, again, bring your profile up and answer questions about your profile, about your network, about your engagement. If you would want me to do that, I'm happy to do it. I need your permission to bring your profile up and discuss your profile on this webinar.
I put my link in there. You're more than welcome to go in it. It's in the chat when we first started speaking.
Was that Tara?
Yes, Tara.
Okay. So Tara, a couple things. first of all, this is called your headline. It's 220 characters. So you have a lot of space that you can write there. And put every word needs to have a space between them. If you're going to do a spacer character, you need to have a space, a slash, and a space. And so, and nobody's looking for business owner, but they are looking for artists. And people are looking for writers, but spread that out a little bit more, so it's easy to read. Your about section. Earlier, I heard you did tell me you're embarking on a journey as a newbie artist, writer. Here's a thought. Don't apologize. I had the window open. First time I had the window open in ages. First, here's a thought. Don't tell me that you're a newbie artist. Tell me and your target audience, you are an artist. You are a writer. You don't need to vet yourself with the word newbie. And especially in these first 4 lines, so that's all I see. And if you don't get my attention here and tell me who you are and what you do relevant to me, if I were your target audience, I'm not going to click on see more. Tell me you're an artist. Tell me you're a writer. Tell me you love to create art and you love to write. Not only is a vehicle to share your journey, but if you're doing this to serve others, tell me you're doing this work to help others in their journey.
And that definitely connects to what I'm doing. I actually restricted my own voice during the pandemic. And I had my first anxiety attack because I wasn't expressing myself. I limited myself and trying to get emotional about it, but I don't want anybody else to ever feel like they can't be their authentic self. And so that's why I share my story, because I hope that maybe I can inspire other, people that maybe feel stuck in their career or what direction they want to go. I hear so many people use language that limits themselves. I'm still working on that. Like you said, instead of saying newbie artist, because I'm going between, I'm trying to be transparent, but I also don't need to limit myself. So yeah.
But tell me how you serve me if I were your target audience. Tell me that up front. And you just said it. You just said it out loud. You just got to write it. It's not about you to begin with. It's about them and how it's so important and why you are so passionate about helping people get their authentic voice out there. Now, you can come down here and you can tell me later on about your own journey. That's fine. But you need to lead with, I'm here to help you in your journey so that you can get your authentic voice out there, so that you can be heard and be discovered as the authority that you are, so that you can be discovered as someone who has value to others in XYZ ABC space. And I hate saying it that way, but I don't know the specifics. But that's the most important thing. And then you can tell me about your journey so that I can relate to you after you told me you can help me. So, and you get 2,600 characters here. So Tara, you could write a heck of a story in here.
Are people, see, that's the thing. Like, I kept it short because people's attention spans are short. I also taught middle school. So are people really going to read all of that if I type more?
No, they're not. But guess what? You're missing the other audience. And I failed to tell you about this. You're writing this for the human and the search bots.
Okay.
So the more you talk about being an artist and being a writer, the more you use the keywords in this potentially 2,600 characters of space, the more powerful your LinkedIn profile is going to be. Yeah. So you got to come up with those keywords. So you use those keywords throughout. And then in your experience section, tell me Again, you get 2,000 characters in here under the description. Tell me what you do. Tell me, Detour 39, tell me what that business does. Again, the same context as up here in these first 4 lines, in these first few lines here. Tell me why you were here and how you can help me, how you can create value for me, how you can solve my problems or help me grow my brand, et cetera, et cetera. And then again, you get 2,000 characters here. You could continue on using those keywords of artist and writer and creativity and creative writer, et cetera, et cetera. Think of all those different words. And you could talk again to the human up front and the search bots in the rest of the content. And in these fields here, tell me what you did as a 4th grade teacher, a 5th grade teacher, a 6th grade teacher, and even at the kitchen porter. Tell me what you did back then in these other positions as well that shows professional growth and that is relevant to what you do today. No one cares that you were a server for 4.5 years at Ruby Tuesday. What we really care about is how did you serve your client? And you might very well be heading in that direction here. Make sure guests have filled anything else they need. No, tell me about the human engagement. Don't tell me about napkins and straws, et cetera, et cetera.
I think with that, sorry to interrupt, but I think what I could do to tie in, because I'm like thinking I'm thinking about what I can do as you're teaching me. A lot of that is being observant, looking at your surroundings, how people, and that's a lot about visual art. When I'm working with clients and they want a window painting, I've got to get their vision. A lot of people want custom art to their vision. So being a server, I had to kind of read if tables, wanted me, because some tables want to be entertained and, they love conversation. Some tables want you to stay away because that's their date night. So I think in art world, you have to be good with networking with people. You have to be able to read people. You have to be able to read the situation. I think that's how I can kind of connect it.
Yeah. And so don't start with as a server. This whole story here, you should start this story here with, I was fortunate to work in an environment that was rich in art, rich in visual, rich in stories that I had the opportunity to see, hear, and discover. That would be my thought there. And the same thing here as an elementary teacher. Even though it was only for 1 year, you got the ability to watch the creativity of elementary students, watch the creativity of teachers who loved to help their students grow. And
that year I was trying to survive. I don't know if I can say much about that, but that first year was horrible, to be honest with you.
But never say that.
I know I won't.
You want to always keep it positive. I get it. You were trying to survive, but you were in an environment, and in hindsight, maybe those are the words. I don't like the word hindsight per se, but you look back on this period and you discovered the visuals, you discovered passion, you discovered the power of youth, the imagination of youth, et cetera, et cetera.
And I feel bad for saying horrible because you're going to put this on YouTube. I enjoyed my first year of teaching, but I just want to put it in context. So it doesn't get you.
I'm with you.
In your first year of teaching, you're learning about classroom management. And so it's
a lot of work.
It's challenging. So I just wanted to add that in there.
I get you. And I have a daughter who's a early childhood education, I'm not saying it right, EC, and a wife who also was an early childhood educator. And so I understand that. But I also understand from them, and as you and I are talking, that if you looked at it differently, it was a rich experience beyond the chaos of learning to be a teacher. So here for a few more minutes, let's look at some other areas that may be beneficial for you. So here's your activity. Again, this is all about using LinkedIn as a business tool. By the way, you listed yourself as UNCG. Tag the school, and I know that Davidson Davy now, it's Davidson Davy, DDCC or whatever. Connect yourself to the school. Don't just type in those.
How do you tag it? I've never tagged in those
So when
before.
you go to add a school, I come down here and add a school. I type in the school, Davidson Davy Community College. UNCG right there. You typed it, but what you need to do is type it in, then select it from the list by clicking on one of these. So when you go back to edit it, you'll see what I'm talking about. So let's go look at your activity. Here's the so your network, Tara, you're still growing your network. You have 93 followers, and that typically tells me you have, look at that. You got, what is that, 14 followers over your 79 connections. So
Is that good?
that's good. That means there's 14 people who just want to pay attention to you. That's good. But you only have 79 connections. Again, go back to what I said earlier. Make a new connection every day of your life. Average it out. Only do 7 a week, 8 a week, 10 a week, whatever you want to do, but keep your network growing. And at some point, you've turned on followers. So that's why you have extra followers. I recommend, unless you're going to be actively writing articles, which you're not doing, or actively doing LinkedIn Live that I don't think you're doing, I would turn off creator mode. I get it. You want creator mode turned on because you want to be a creator, but you don't have a big enough network. You want to turn creator mode off until you surpass 1,000 connections. That would be you have it turned on. I can see that right here. And I can see it right here. I recommend turning it off. And I'm Tara, I'm Teddy. I'm full of ideas. Use them as you see fit. But you got to keep growing your LinkedIn network. So, and if you turn off creator mode, the connect button will be here versus it's hidden down here. So it's up to you, but I would grow your network more before I turned on creator mode. But in that context, as far as being a creator, let's look at what you're doing. So Tara, thank you very much for letting me use your LinkedIn profile as an example. So is this a drawing that you did yourself?
Yes, that's freehand. It was a business
It's
not too long ago that it was a window art painting for a local business.
I was wondering why you drew the Transformers there.
I'm not that good.
So, but here's what you have. You have posts, you have comments, you posted images. These are your images you post. This is a fairly new presentation. Here's your documents you've written. You've got your resume out there. It's
yeah, I need to take that down. That was when I was thinking about doing instructional design, and I lost interest in that. So,
yeah, and unfortunately, you don't. Interestingly enough, just one thing, since we're looking at this, you don't have your contact information on your resume. Oh, email, it's a hyperlink, email and phone. Okay. Typically, I would say write those out for anybody who's looking at this. If you don't need to get rid of it. But then your reactions, this is where you liked stuff. So somebody posted something 3 years ago and you liked it, 2 months ago. Now, why is that not in order? That's bizarre. Maybe because you liked this most recently. That might be what it is. So
yeah, I found it. I connected with someone through as a kitchen porter, and she was an owner of Coffee Haven, and she told me she was writing. I did a creative writing class over the summer, and I got into writing. I've kind of pulled away from that and focused on art, but I'm trying to get back into it. And connect them both. But she told me about that, and I just started digging through her old stuff.
I got it. So let's go look at the stuff let's go look at your comments. So Come on. So you commented on, Kim, who works at McGriff, and your comment is meaningful. 10 words or less is what I recommend about comments. If you can't use 10 words, then you're missing opportunities. You're missing my words I would say to people, why are you thanking? Oh, I guess you were thanking Sandra for the congrats. But you could still say more. You could say, how excited you are at developing your business as an artist. Think about that. You replied to Kim, thank you, I'm excited for this journey. Again, you could expand upon that to become an artist, et cetera, et cetera. Think about always looking for more words in context to the content you're engaging on. And then your post, Tara, 3 weeks ago, you posted an image. You could have, what I hired to do last week is change my brain chemistry. I pulled up one day to work on it some more and was like, I did that? I like the story that you're writing here. Additionally, you could have maybe tagged the business if they're on LinkedIn, or tagged the person who commissioned you if they're on LinkedIn. You could have mentioned the business if it's relevant. Just another idea to help get more people to see what you did is to pull more people into the content, again, where relevant and appropriate. So 2 months ago, drawing, I used to think my 3-hour standing drawing class was intense, but drawing for 7 straight hours in 40 or below temperatures was a marathon. Again, great story, but you could have tagged the business. Wait, is this your own business?
No, it's another local storefront. I don't know if they have LinkedIn. I'll have to see. I've been good about tagging when I do Instagram and Facebook, but I didn't think about that for LinkedIn.
Yeah. So, but I mean, this is rich. Then again, the more you can tag companies and people, the more you can pull people into the content. And by the way, this is called hashtag stuffing. This is not Instagram. It's no more than 6 hashtags on LinkedIn. Never, always.
You can tell I love IG.
I get always at least 3, but never more than 6 on LinkedIn. And so where is this going to go? Your Etsy shop? Yeah. So all good. And I had another one for you as well. So every time somebody comments, you did well to comment back with them. So have you done any artwork for McGriff?
No, that's a family member. So okay. We just stay in touch. We're really close and supportive of each other.
All good. All good. So, but this is where the magic happens. It takes time. But again, when your engagement is meaningful, and also you reposted Daniel's, that's fine, but you missed an opportunity. Repost is great for Daniel. Repost does not help Tara. Okay. The only thing that, so again, if your goal was only to help Daniel, that's fine. But what you may have wanted to do was also to help Tara. And the way you help Tara is not use a repost. The way you get to hit the repost button, but you share with your thoughts. That's how you help Tara. Repost only helps Daniel. Your repost of your thoughts primarily helps Tara. And another way you could have done it was you really didn't even have to do either one of them unless you're only trying to help Daniel. And don't know the answer. Maybe you were, but if you wanted to help both, then what I would recommend is go for a comment. Because when you comment, you get Tara's message out there, her words, her thoughts, her philosophies. And you also help Daniel get his content seen by your network. So, and you know, this is stuff that I practice and experiment with all the time. And for me, I'm going to go for a comment way sooner than I'm going to go for a repost. I may actually hit the send button and send it to someone directly even before I hit the like button. Pretty much the only time I use the like button is if someone comments on my content and I want them to know I saw their comment. I might hit the like button and say, Jerry, thanks for liking it. Thanks for engaging on my content. So engagement is really the magic sauce of using LinkedIn. Build a beautiful profile that's keyword rich, that speaks to your target audience. Build your LinkedIn network, keep it growing every day, and look for ways to get into conversations. Before I go on with anything else, any other questions?
I don't think I have any right now.
So, by the way, as an artist, Tara, you could have a video here. So on mine, there's view my profile video. I got just a simple little video. I go up on LinkedIn every day to do the things that I know I need to do to create value for myself and my business. While I am on LinkedIn, I'm experimenting with it. I'm looking for new features. I'm looking for changes. I'm looking for ideas and best practices that you, your team, can use to create value on LinkedIn as well. My profile. Maybe we should.
So I didn't know that was there. That's cool.
This is the magic. I mean, yeah, if you didn't know it was there, but this is what I try to do. Follow me on YouTube, connect with me on LinkedIn, follow me on Quora. And you know, this is cool stuff because you know, not everybody knows it's there. The ring around there is the indicator that there's a video. So if I go to my buddy Kevin. But by the way, I created that video outside of LinkedIn, edited it and all that stuff, less than 1 minute. And when it's then you can put it out there. See the ring on the outside? This tells me Kevin has a video.
Kevin D. Turner. I am
and there's my buddy Kevin. And so yeah, you're right. Not everybody knows it's there, but it shows up pretty easily on mobile as well. So and search, you know, really just play with search. Really just, you know, always start with words. You know, I'm gonna look for Manger. Actually, let me do the worst one, pubic relations. And I can look for people. I can look for people who are in pubic relations. And I can look for my first level connections that are in pubic relations. And look at that. Oh, I got to put, it changed it to public. I want pubic relations. Then I want public. First level pubic relations. Let me put quotes around that. Oh, good. Nobody has it that clearly with quotes around it. But if I go look through here, I'm going to find, let me just do pubic. And 6,300 people have that misspelled word. No. Oh, no results for that word. Good. So I got to go to second level. And there's 106 people who have misspelled. Look, Byron Williams, okay? Radio talk show host at Pubic Morality. I think it's supposed to be public morality. This is an NPR dude. I'm sorry. I am appalled. I have to save that and help him fix it. That's embarrassing. So anyway, I'm saying practice using search. If I want to find artists, just artists, find all the artists that are out there, maybe find artists that you're connected with. And, I have 175 people who are artists that I'm connected with. So maybe you want to find those that you're not connected with, that second level. And maybe I want to know Leslie Talley. Maybe I want to know Mary Longshore, who's in Madison, voiceover artist. Maybe I want to know Kent Chilton. And so look for ways to, and look, I've got 107, 108 connections to Kent Chilton. So I can go look at Kent and I can call Philip. I can call Mark, because I remember I connect purposely. And when I connect, I immediately engage. So I could call Philip. If I want to meet Kent, I could call Philip and ask him to introduce me to Kent. Or I can go look for his content, and he doesn't really have any recent stuff. Look for his post. It's 2 years old. So I'm not going to engage on 2-year-old content. But practice with the search bar. Practice with all filters. Look at all these filters here. Connections of, followers of, location, talks about if they have if their creator modes on, current company, past company, school, industry, public profile, open to profile language, and then all these ad hoc fields. Practice using those and really drive these lists down to the smallest viable audience, and look for people who are relevant to you, and look for ways to get introduced to them if you want to have a conversation with them. So any questions about search, as I'm going to wrap up here in a few moments?
Just one. When you said that when you go to and you search for people and you might want to connect, and it shows who you're already connected with to that person, like second or third level, and you reach out to someone and say, hey, can you introduce me? How might that introduction go? What would that look like?
It depends on the relationship you have with the individual. I know Samantha Brooks personally, a good friend of mine. Jane, fantastic friend of mine, okay? And there are others, I saw their names in here. I might call Samantha because I haven't talked to her in a while, and I want to rejuvenate my relationship with her. Samantha, I call her Sam. Her name is Sam. Sam, how the heck are you? It's been forever. How's the world at the company you're working with treating you? Rebuild. It's called build bond and rapport. Rebuild it. And then I'll say, Sam, I need your help. Do you know John? That's question number one. And if she doesn't know her, I'm gonna say, hey, Sam, no worries. We'll talk another day. I'll call Jane. Jane, how's the world treating you? How's the beach treating you? By the way, do you know John? Yes. Good. I can ask the second question. Do you think John is the right person for me to connect with in the context of what I do and what John does? And my goal, I'll tell Jane up front, my goal is to meet John because he plays in the sandbox I play in, and maybe he knows some ideas that I don't know, and maybe I have some ideas he doesn't know. And if she says, yes, Teddy, you need to connect with John, then the third part of it, beyond, do you know him? Is he the right person? Here's the third part of the conversation, which can be a very simple email. Could be, would you do me a favor, send John an email or a LinkedIn message and copy me on it and introduce me to him so I can say hello. So look at that word I said, so I can say hello, not so I can sell him, not so I can ask for a job, but really so I can have a conversation. I hope that makes sense. That's how I do that.
That makes sense. That makes me think that I need to just make sure I'm networking with people I know, because I don't think I've really kept up with a lot of people. So maybe just organically and authentically just, congratulate anniversaries, work anniversaries, and look at anything they post and just be encouraging and kind. And that way it won't be like, oh, I haven't talked to this person in a year.
Yeah, you gotta, spend time nurturing relationships, but it starts right here. Starts when you connect, that you immediately engage with them to whatever extent appropriate and relevant. If I accept a LinkedIn invite from someone just a few minutes ago, what was it? It was Evelyn accepted my LinkedIn invite. Well, I have to go back to Evelyn and say hello. I got to call her, email her, Or when, as I shut up here in a moment, she'll come back on screen and I can thank her for the connection. Now she'll know who I am. And the next time I reach out to her, she's more likely to accept the conversation. I'm going to wrap this up by saying this: build a LinkedIn profile that speaks volumes to your target audience, telling them who you are and what you do relevant to them. Build a LinkedIn network, connect on a regular basis, keep growing your LinkedIn network very deliberately, and focused on your goals and your purpose, even though that can change as time goes on. And last important point is look for ways to get into conversations, look for ways to start relevant conversations. And because it's the conversations that build your brand. Evelyn and Tara and everyone else who showed up, thank you very much for being a part of the show. I'm going to stop the recording and we'll close
Thank you.
out this call.